Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make are cookies. But these particular cookies, well, I like to call them a chocolate chewy, almost like a brownie cookie. They're moist, they're chewy, they melt in your mouth. They are a great tasting cookie. Now, this particular recipe, though, I would consider it more of a large batch cookie recipe because I get about 60 cookies out of them, and I'll show you the scoop that I'm using and that type of thing. Okay, so they're really great for around the holidays or any type of a special event that you have. Okay, so, and I'm sorry I no longer put the recipe below the video, and I'll explain later. But if you want to jot it down or whatever, hopefully I'll go through clearly enough and slowly enough that you'll get it. And I tend to repeat myself purposely for that, because if you are, taking it down. All right. So let's first start off with our dry ingredients, because I think that's always the fastest to get it all out of the way. You're going to start off with 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and that's what I have in this bowl right now, 2.5 cups. We're also going to put a cup of baking cocoa. Now this is unsweetened. Okay, this is not this is not where you just add water and you get hot cocoa out of. This has no sugar in it, so it's unsweetened baking cocoa, and it's 1 cup. And I'm going to just use my little stir here to kind of stir it up a little bit. You don't have to be real fussy with it, but we'll give it a couple good turns here. All right. The next dry ingredient that you're going to be putting in is 1 teaspoon of, well, let's go in order. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Okay, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And again, we're just going to stir that in. Okay. You're also going to be putting in 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay. And the last dry ingredient is 1 teaspoon of salt. And again, I'm just kind of combining it. Okay. And we'll set that aside. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to need butter, of course. You need 1 cup of melted butter. I did it in my microwave, but allow it to cool so it's not hot. Okay, so 1 cup is going into my mixer. Now, if you want to do this recipe with your stand-up mixer, again, feel free. But I like the stand-up because I think it's quicker for the video, so that I don't have to keep you folks too long if you want to watch the whole video, that kind of thing. The next thing that you're going to be putting in is 1 cup of brown sugar. Now, I purposely left it this way so I could show you, because a lot of people write to me and ask me that question, should it be packed? Yes, pack your sugar, 1 cup. And now I'm just going to kind of break it up with my hands here a little bit, because it was sitting on the counter waiting for me to start this video for a little bit of time. But that's 1 cup packed. Okay? All right. The next thing we're going to put in is granulated sugar, and also this is 1 cup. And now I'm going to turn my mixer on to start creaming the melted butter and the brown sugar and the granulated sugar. So I'm going to warn you about the sound, because this can be loud on your end. Okay? I'll give you a heads up. take you a long time because the butter is melted. So, you know, but you do want it well combined. And, you know, spend that minute or that minute and a half. I'm just moving it along due to the video. The next thing you're going to be adding in one at a time, beat in, are eggs. And you need 2 of them. And again, that's why we stressed about the butter being cool, because you don't want to make scrambled eggs. So I'm going to put 1 in at a time, and I'll warn you about the sound. The next thing that you're going to be putting in is a teaspoon, I'm sorry, 2 teaspoons, I made an error, 2 teaspoons, I'm glad I caught it, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and this is when you're going to spend 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes beating it in, but again, I'm going to move it along due to the video, warn you about the sound. Okay, now I normally, of course, wouldn't be beating it that high. It would probably be around medium. And now I'm going to just start to slowly put in my dry. And it's going to be at a lower speed so I don't get this all over me and all over the kitchen. Let's put some more in. Warn you about the sound. And let's add some more. I usually raise the speed once it starts, you know, blending in where it's not going to again fly all over. All right, and let's put the rest of it in. Okay. Oh, I got some on the mixer here. Oh well. And now we're just going to stay with it till it's all combined and forms a cookie ball. And then I usually raise my speed at the end so that it actually will clean the sides of my mixing bowl. Okay, now you're going to beat that longer than I did, okay? Spend that 2 minutes or that 3 minutes. You know, you don't want to overbeat it either, though, that the cookies become real dense and real heavy. But just till it's well combined. And I just want to try to take off some of the excess here. I always say I hate to waste product because baking is expensive these days. Ingredients are expensive, so why waste them? Besides all the work that you're putting into them, it is fun, but it's still a lot of work, and why waste it? And now I'm just going to clean the sides of my mixing bowl and check the bottom because it tends to stick down there. So I'll just do this by hand. Now, what I find is it's best for you not to chill this. It's easier to handle if you choose chill it, but we're going to roll it actually in colored jimmies. And you can roll them in nuts, chopped nuts, finely chopped nuts. You can use little confettis, and you can see it, what it looks like, the cookie ball. It is a wet dough. It is a heavy dough. They don't bake up heavy or dense, but it is a heavy dough, okay? All right, now I want to show you the scoop that I'm going to use. All right. And I would say this scoop is about equal to a tablespoon. Okay. I have a little bit of cookie dough in it from earlier making these. But anyway, it's about 1 tablespoon. Now, if you don't want to use a scoop, or you don't have a scoop, just, you know, like I said, use a teaspoon, a little bit more than a teaspoon. And what you're going to do is, I like to use the scoop because I just feel the cookies are more accurate, you know, the same size, and they bake up nicely the same amount of time. And here I'm just rolling them in some blue colored jimmies. Now, you are going to space your cookies. Space them at least, I would say, a good inch to even 1.5 inches, because they will spread. And you don't want them, of course, to bake together and not look appealing when you're done. It's kind of good that this dough is a bit sticky, because it really does hold your colored jimmies. It really does. What I like about this recipe, we're just going to roll one more to show you. And as you're rolling it, it's a little sticky. The more that you put your sprinkles on, you're going to be able to form the ball a little more precisely once the jimmies are on it. Okay, so like that. All right. I'm going to rinse my hands here. I was working with raw cookie dough. Now, you're going to bake these at 350 degrees, and they could probably take you anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. It really depends on your oven, because you know our oven's set up so differently. If you are baking in 2 batches, remember to rotate your trays, or your whatever you're baking these cookies in, that kind of thing. Then when they come out of the oven, just let them sit on your pan for a few minutes before you put them on your cooling rack. Now, when they do bake up, you're hopefully going to see cracks on the top, which is normal, and look for kind of a shine on the top, as well as look at the bottom. But it's kind of hard to check chocolate fudge cookies when they're baking. So I'm gonna, again, I want to just rinse my hands here, and then I'm going to put a clean glove over my existing glove. Okay, and this is how they come out when they're baked up. As you can see, they're really a nice size cookie. Sorry, I apologize about the glove, but I had a slight cut on my hand, and I don't like that coming in contact if I'm ever baking, that's for sure. So, but anyway, and it has some cracks on the top. You might not be able to see that because I'm not able to give you a close-up on that. And the bottom will have a nice medium brown to it when they're done, but it will have a hard or a sort of a crisp feeling bottom and top. Now, when you break them open, you will then see this fudgy middle, and I don't know if you can see me pushing these cookies together, but they're chewy and they're moist. The crumb is about a medium crumb, but they melt in your mouth. They really taste like you're eating a brownie. Now, if you want it to be more like a brownie, you can take them out a minute or two earlier. The longer you bake them, the drier they'll get. Not that they don't taste good, but I think this recipe is so good because it is to give you that nice chew to the cookie, where it feels like you're biting into a brownie. And they are just delicious little chocolate brownie cookies. And again, I believe I get about 60 cookies out of this recipe for this size that I'm using. You, of course, can use whatever size scoop. If you want to use larger, then, of course, adjust your time. You'll get fewer cookies, but just your time, that kind of thing, okay? And they're really pretty quick and easy. I think the longest it takes you is the rolling them into the colored jimmies or sprinkles, whatever you prefer to call them. But I do like is that you can use the color for any type of occasion that you have. And these cookies are really great for, you know, church socials, graduation, bridal, baby shower, weddings, whatever. And then change up what you garnish them with. Oh, lots of ways to make this cookie really great. All right, so I want to tell you real quick why I don't put the recipe on anymore, and I'm not alone on this. And the only reason I'm bothering you with this is because people write and say, well, why don't you, you know? I just got tired of seeing my work pinned and posted and claimed as someone else's videos. But really what did it was, I always say at my end of my videos, if you try this recipe and you like it, let me hear from you. Questions came in, comments came in on other sites, and there's no way I could answer you. And here you're kind enough to watch my channel, and you're taking the time to write to me, and I just felt that it wasn't worth it anymore. And I want to be able to get your comments and your questions if you so choose to write me. And if you do, I'll do my best to answer in a timely fashion. So this is the only place I put my videos on, which is YouTube. So if you write to me, I will get your comment or your question. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. If you're so inclined and you want to subscribe to the channel, I can't thank you enough. And again, I want to thank almost 24,000 subscribers that did that. And I really appreciate it. I really do. And if you like the cookie, you know, give it a like. I can't thank you enough. So thank you again for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.